Is it working? Hi!
Yes, it is working. Everybody, please put your hands together for the OG influencer, XiaXue.
Why is my face so big? Hi, hi, hi.
You can stand far away, then our face is small, you see?
Oh, very smart. Okay. That's smart.
Hi.
Hi,
Can you hear
hi.
me? Can you hear me clearly?
Yep, yep. How about me? Okay?
Yep, very, very clear. Hi. So nice to actually finally get to speak to you. I am slightly nervous. I'm going to share with you this because I've been watching you since, I don't know if you're okay with me mentioning the Dawn Young phase.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So
Okay.
I've been watching you. I've been following you since then. I've been obsessed about you. I love all your opinions, and right now to be able to like have this chat with you, I'm actually a little bit nervous. So I
Oh
hope you
my
don't mind
God.
if I.
So I cannot remember when was the first time I chanced upon, like, I think your content was, I think somebody shared, I saw your content, and usually I don't like to follow influencers because I just feel like usually when you go to the influencers page, they are just hiao photos, right? And it's just very 千篇一律 lah. Everyone is like agak the same, and I found your content very very funny. So and I thought the videos were
Oh.
very hilarious. So I followed you on my own accord. So yeah, so
Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't want to be a fangirl because I don't want to annoy you, right? But I'll just give me a time limit. Okay, I'll be fangirl for like 10 seconds. Are you okay with that?
sure.
Okay. So, I was watching all your I was obsessed with your guide to life. My guide to life. I was obsessed with that for the longest time. I really love how every video you're always like just so real. And even if you appear to be a dumb bimbo, or I don't know if you're playing the part, but it's just so funny. And I really like that, it's don't want like this, stuff like this, where
Yeah.
normal human beings will just want everything to be perfect. I really like the guts that you had for all the videos where you're just completely real. So I just want to put that out there before we continue our conversation today. Like I've been following you since
Oh,
then, and some of the comments there were really cool, saying that XiaXue never age. I really believe that. I don't know
no
if it's
lah, plastic
lighting.
surgery, plastic surgery. The moment we get out of this lockdown shit, I'm going to go and like double Botox already. Because that day I was looking at like this, like, oh my god, there's freaking lines eh. How dare there be lines?
I so got leh.
You need to Botox that shit. So by
But I'm
right,
okay. I'm actually quite okay with my face because currently, I like things to be natural. If everywhere sex, I'll be sexy. You get what I mean?
no, you did not. That was terrible.
Sorry, that was not a good joke. Okay, you know what? Jokes aside, straight up, I want to go straight into it, guys. I want to show you what I've prepared. I literally have questions lined up. I messaged XiaXue one day. Wendy/XiaXue. I'll call you XiaXue from now on, okay?
Sure.
I messaged her one day and I was like, can I please get you on the show? Because there were people requesting to have this interview with you nonstop. And I was like, I'm just going to try my luck. Like, what could be worse? And then she said yes. So the one big question that I've always wanted to know is your opinion on the difference between influencers during your blogging days and now. Do you see and have you experienced a difference in terms of mentality, or is all the same?
I would say difference. I guess back then it was like I feel it takes a bit more work at that point, but somehow the girls, I would say, like back then the girls who were influencers, right, are very very dumb, like like very very stupid and super bimbo. Some of them are like legit almost half like porn stars. I don't know whether that's the case in Malaysia. I suppose that it was kind of like that as well. But I guess nowadays we see a lot more people taking it more seriously as work, like they are a lot more professional when it comes to like doing their job well, filming well. And then of course then last time it's just on blogs, right, or on Twitter, or even Instagram is kind of easy, but I think YouTube is harder because that is legit work. Like you really need to come up with a script, come up with content, and then you need to film it and editing it, and editing it is like freaking next level difficult lah. And I think people don't really see that part. I would say that the worst is when you're reviewing your footage, because you need to watch hours and hours of footage. Yeah, and
And if
sometimes
it's bad and boring, wow, cannot eh.
yeah, it's really hard work lah. Yeah, but for me, I hire somebody to do it lah. So I I don't tend to I just pay
But
for
from
it.
like the start, back when you were blogging, because I don't really have a lot of experience blogging, and yesterday I was actually interviewing Jane Chuck about blogging, and she said this. You can tell us if it's something that you have experienced.
Sure.
She used to blog, and she had like all these pictures, but you know, right now you got apps to edit. But back then you have to put it to Photoshop.
Yeah.
I learned Liquify from you as well, you know. Liquify. And then you know, re-upload it, and every picture you got to make sure it has some kind of continuity.
Yeah.
It was hard work as well. Like it was a different kind of hard work. So if we were to compare, I think it's different in that case, correct?
Yes, I would say that in the past it would take me like hours and hours to write a blog post. So like after that, right, like I just feel like I don't really have the kind of focus to do it anymore now. It just takes too much effort. And then like I just cannot be bothered lah, because I also feel like nowadays less people read blogs. But
why do you think so?
I think that everything is just on Instagram. It's like you don't want to have to go to a specific website to have to look at something. It's just all on one app. So that being the case lah, so I do think that there is a market for more long form posts, but it's definitely less how to say, people are less interested because their attention spans are definitely worse now. So they just want something that's like quick gratification, you know. That's why things like TikTok are like so popular now, because people just need that. You need to hook them within like the first few seconds. Yeah.
But let's just talk about a product. You need to know about a product. When you want to review a product, you can't review it on TikTok, correct? On Instagram, perhaps you can in a video form, but sometimes for me, if I have to buy gadgets or anything, I don't really watch videos. I know that people go to videos to read their reviews and stuff, but sometimes like specs or even how you want to compare a lot of different kinds of the same category but different gadgets. I would go to a blog to read a blog. So like you said, I think there's still a big market for blogging, but only for very niche, slowly becoming more and more niche.
Yeah. So I would think I think like food blogs are still probably like people will still go, because when you search for it, then sometimes the address, opening hours, all that, it just happens to be on food blog, and then you were like, okay, may as well go and read their reviews, see what photos the person tried, stuff like that. So people still go lah. Yeah, but as for like more personal anecdotes and stuff, I think that in general, there's no longer really a craving for it, because Instagram stories and Instagram, they actually it fulfills that little like craving of yours to know about somebody's life. And I think, yeah, so nowadays whenever I feel like I want to say something but it's a little bit too long for Instagram, right, I would put it I will just write down a blog post, but then I'll put it into a script form and say it on YouTube lor. So it's like reading it out loud lah, basically.
Yeah, I really enjoy that, because I like scripting my videos, because that means that I have all the points covered. I have thought about everything, and then once I've scripted it, I post it on a video. I've already thought about the pros and cons as to why I post it up. Then this leads me to the next question. What do you admire in terms of influencers these days?
These days,
let's start with the good first. Then we'll talk about, you know, the shady side. We're gonna talk about the good. Let's start with what you think influencers are good for these days. What do you appreciate and admire?
You mean like social good like?
You can define it the way you want to. It'll be interesting.
Okay, I would say if I didn't answer your question wrongly, I mean like, you mean what good they do for society, or like what I respect about them? So it's like two different.
What you respect about them?
Okay, I would say that nowadays they are the ones who take it seriously are very they are more like hardworking lah. So they're definitely more hardworking than the ones in the past, which sometimes like today I'm gonna take hiatus and stuff like that. Whereas like nowadays content creators, they really churn out content very fast and very on the ball lah. They do it all the time. It doesn't matter whether they're tired or like whatever. And it's difficult to always come out with interesting content, but we do see a lot of people just non-stop content. And I do think that some part of it could be that they are just very addicted to the attention and the fame that they got from it. But some part of it could also be that they know that part of my career, I need to continue doing this, you know? So
I have something to add to that. So this is kind of pressures that I personally go through. when I go on a holiday, sometimes I don't feel like I'm on a holiday because I'm consistently looking around, thinking about what kind of content can I create. Oh, that is interesting. I'm gonna film that right now, and I'm consistently switched on. And during the start of the lockdown, the first 3 days, I was switched off, and suddenly I felt this heaviness, and I was like, oh no, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And I think that is a problem for creators these days. For us, we feel like if we stop, the momentum will stop. And when the momentum stops, you will just slowly become irrelevant. So that is something, that's my experience. Do you experience anything like that?
Not really, because I feel like every time there is kind of a surge in my so-called relevancies when I get angry over something. I'm sure it's different for most people because, like, I think my brand thrives a lot on controversy. So there will be non-stop things to irritate me anyway. So I just wait for the next one to come.
So that's good. That's good. So now, since you're talking about the word irritating, what irritates you, let's talk about influencers these days. There are different forms. There are like the Instagram influencers, then there's YouTube, and then there's a TikTok. Let's start having this sharing session, open-minded sharing session about what you think influencers on Instagram. What are things that you dislike or just doesn't go along with your vibe?
I would say that Instagrammers, firstly, they are very pretentious. A lot of them are lah. I don't know whether, definitely not all, but in general, the vibe is that it's very fake. And this whole Instagram thing is very positive vibes only, which I fucking hate. Like, swear words.
Oh yes, please. There's no brand. This is my brand. Just go and say fuck, and do all you want. Okay.
Oh, okay. Do them. Okay, yeah. So, like, they're always like, like, oh, be yourself. This and that. What else do they say? Live, life, love. Capital. I don't know what the fuck they say. Like, it's just like shut the fuck up. Like, non-stop, you with your fitness and you're eating right and you're doing good for society and help the poor and blah 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 blah. Just shut the fuck up lah. And it's just like non-stop, I just really really hate it. And I especially feel like during this period of time, like where everyone's like kind of going through a crisis, like all the more I don't want to hear about your like, oh, I'm staying positive during this difficult time. Like, shut the fuck up. I just want you to suffer together with me. Like, everyone suffer together, like, I don't want to hear about how happy you are lah. Like, just shut up lah. It's just like, I feel like Instagram is generally like that. There's not enough negative vibes people, which I feel like we need to fight for it, because like everyone is just like positivity is the right thing to do. We should all, be positive together, positive energy, encourage each other. No, sometimes we just need to tell people that they are wrong and they're stupid.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so
you know what's interesting? I'm just gonna stop you right there real quick. Just a little pause. I noticed when I asked you what you like, it was full stop. What you don't like? Whoa, 出来了. Continue, please. I think it's very interesting.
But I do think that nowadays people on Instagram are a little bit more open. They are not so shallow and vapid anymore.
Or curated.
In the past, it's very curated. Yeah, that's the word lah. I think curated rather than pretentious would be the word. So they like to present a certain form of themselves that's just like, oh, this is me living my best life, and it's a bit of a show-offy, narcissistic kind of thing. But nowadays you see people open up a little bit more, especially with Instagram stories about like, oh, relationship problems, like, oh, today I dealt with my mom and this and that, it was not good. So I think that is a lot more authentic. And to me, I feel that if you have followers, it means nothing if they're just following you because they just want to see your makeup videos, or they just like your, I don't know, your perfect little couple shots of you two being fucking in love, or like what fuck, like it means nothing. They don't actually support you, so one day, like, like if you need their support, they don't even care. They don't give a shit, because they don't even know what your last name is, because they don't care about you as a person, because the person that they like is just maybe they like
your aesthetics.
Your aesthetics lah. So it just doesn't mean anything. So I think it means a lot more when people are more real and they open up about themselves and their lives and their opinions, and people know them as a person rather than just a pretty face, or like.
You mentioned something about authenticity, and that's something I'm always behind. I want to know, you shared some some parts here and there, and you don't have to share it if you don't want to. I'm just going to ask anyway. You have a little issue with people that you know who are your friends, but online you can tell that that's a totally different persona. I want to know, you don't have to say who, you don't mention names if you don't want to. I just want to know, what do you mean by that? And why do you think people do things like that?
Okay, like I don't have anybody in my life currently right now like that, even though I have influencer friends. Most of them are pretty much the same person that they show online as they are in real life. So like I just think that like people, when it's just very 恶心 lor. So you know, like then you cannot explain 恶心. 恶心 is just 恶心. You know, you cannot tell them, can you stop being 恶心? But you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just like this grossed out feeling, like you know that she's not like that, like in real life, but she's pretending to be somebody else online. Be it like, let's say she's very positive vibes, right? Like guys, we shouldn't fight with each other, let's show each other love, you know, blah blah blah. But let's say in real life she's actually very, very bitchy. So I guess that's the feeling that everyone had when they like, you know, the whole Taylor Swift saga came out, because everyone thought that she was such a sweet, nice girl, right? Like she doesn't bite back and everything. So when the voice note came out, everyone started hating on her because it was revealed that she's a different person. But this is how I feel like if I know you in real life and you're a totally different person online. And it's especially worse if you are constantly talking about how real you are online. Like,
Okay.
yeah, or even when you have friends who act like they are damn popular, but you know they bought followers.
Oh.
Yeah, like, you know that you're not actually popular, you know, like, you know what I mean? It's just very, so I think, yeah, lor. So but
I personally have had experiences where some acquaintances, I kind of know them in person, but then I've seen like their social media, and then they're posing really closely with other people and calling them really good friends, and then I find out they're actually not friends, things like that. I don't know how to deal with that, because if you're portraying certain things online, I mean, it's your right. That's the thing. That's another thing I want to talk about. Like, it's people's right, to post. That's true. But I just think that it's people's right to. I want to talk about positivity, and my channel is all about positivity. It is their right, and it's also our right to, like you said, it's not something that I want to deal with. I am fucking upset today. I don't want to feel positive, and your post about being zen is pissing the shit out of me. We have the right to feel that as well. Then the next question goes to, should we do anything about that?
Right. So
do you get what I mean?
Yeah, so that's why it's like a huge dilemma, because in the past, when you consider whether you like somebody as a friend, you only have to consider one facade of them. That's what you see, like what you see is what you get, right? So whenever you meet them, that's that one person. But now we have to consider whether we're like two people, right? Which is one of them is real life them, and then the other one is the online them. Because and I can tell you this doesn't go well if you tell the real life person that you don't like their online persona. It never will go. They will never ever accept that they are a different person. They will deny it until the cows come home. They will say that I am me. And the person that you don't like to see online, you're either jealous or some other reason. They will just think that, oh, you're jealous of my fame. You just don't like it when people are famous too, is it? Like, you know, things like that. So now you have to consider whether you like both of them. And so it's a little bit more difficult to cross this barrier of liking somebody, because you need to like two personas. And then comes the thing where you are already friends with somebody in real life, and then they become this person that you don't like. And it's just very hard lah. So I think, like, and then if you mute them, right, they'll be like, hey, do you see my this post? And like, and then after that you're just like, oh yeah, I must have missed it. I feel and I think it's very difficult to set aside this feeling and say, oh, I like you in real life as a friend, I just don't like your content, it pisses me off. Because this feeling of grossed outness, right, will just leak on to your feelings about that person later on. And no matter how hard you try to bury it, it will come out. And eventually you'll just start to dislike the person in real life also lah. So it's very hard to maintain that kind of friendship, I feel. And I think there's really nothing much you can do about it, except to maybe just let it die a gradual death.
So really, that's your advice. Like, there's really not much. You just, if you don't feel like you like that person's, I wouldn't say persona. Would you agree if it's like a facade,
Yeah, sure. They
right?
will never
So
agree
a
that
version of themselves.
I mean,
They that would be their art. Yeah, yeah.
to a certain degree, all of us are fake, right? Like, I mean, I would never post out a photo of myself fucking ugly, no makeup. I mean, I might if it's funny, but you know, like the real me, I probably wouldn't post 100%. And then that's what the person's argument will be lah. They will be like, you also not 100%. What? How can you judge mine and say that mine is a facade, yours is real? We got such things. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is such a weird thing. Like social media, was blogging days got this kind of weird duality thing going on?
Also have. I think also have. Like, you know, you also see the same. I also had the same problem sometimes. Especially when somebody is not really popular and then sort of the fame gets into their head and they kind of change and they morph.
Okay, can you share with us? Share with us what are those changes?
Just like if you're a normal person, then you start being more popular, then you get a bit big-headed lah on your blog or like whatever. Maybe be like, oh my god, so many of you all today. You know, whatever product I promoted is sold out. I just cannot believe how many of you all support me. And then maybe they start selling MLM products and just like, oh, this price, not your fucking foot mask and your Wowo shampoo. You know, and then you're just like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do now? Like, you're supposed to be my friend, I'm supposed to like you, but I really dislike you now. You know, so
I get it.
Yeah.
It is. I think it is difficult. And you know, like when I have old friends who knew me way before I was doing social media. I always do my best to not talk about work with them. Like my friend from US, and she came back once, and she asked me how's life. I felt very uncomfortable talking about my work because not a lot of people understand. And when you're talking about it, it will sound as if like I'm trying to brag, but I'm not. It's just really, this is my work. I've worked really hard for it, but I don't want to sound braggy, so I'd rather not talk about it. And that side of me, I feel like I can never really share with anyone other than like my partner or my cats. I don't know, like I don't really share about my work to people. It's because I don't want to seem as if, you know, I'm like, I'm working with this brand or that brand, you know. It's so unnecessary.
How about with other influencers? Maybe you can talk to them about it, because I have influencer friends, and so we can talk about such things lah. Like, but there, to a certain degree, there is a little element of competition there as well. Not really, but like no matter what, you can't help but sometimes compare. How come I don't have? You know how they like. But to my secondary school friends and things like that, I think like, you know, they also know me before everything happened, which is like long time ago. I'm very careful not to seem very self-important and talk too much about like my stuff, but in general they seem quite interested. So if they ask, then I'll still talk about it lor.
Okay, so then it's better that they initiate it. Then you just like share, and then if they ask some more, then you continue. Yeah, I agree. And then I think it's easier. Yeah, you're right. Speaking to influencer friends. See, that's the thing. That's the weird thing. Why do we call them influencer friends? Do you know what I mean?
Why?
Because I find it very weird. Why aren't they just friends? Like, oh yeah, my friends. Oh, but we have to put the prefix there, influencer friends, to justify that, yeah, they do the same thing. So we get it. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's like just.
Now we got this other. Sorry?
Technically, it's like colleague friend like that lah. So I think it's okay.
I think it's okay. I personally find it a bit weird. Like, oh yeah, no, my influencer friend do this one. I find it. I catch myself sometimes. I feel really weird about it because it's a weird term to put before friends. Like, why can't they just be friends? Why must it be influencer friends? Maybe because
you know
I
them
just.
through work, what?
Sorry?
Because you know them through work, what?
Yeah, that's true.
So
then that means like when you're working, that person will forever be your colleague. Can that person be your friend?
It's just like if I am a zoologist, then I'll just say my zoo friends or like, okay what? I think it's okay.
Okay.
Or like, you know, like if I'm hairstylist, then I'll just be like, yeah, my salon friends. Like
I guess then that's how we kind of like group our friends around. So maybe that makes sense as well.
It sounds a bit haolian, like, you know, like
maybe that I have a problem with that. Maybe I have a problem with that.
No, I think
So
that it's good that you are self-aware, because some people are very not self-aware, and you know, like it just really really turns people off when you act like you are like them tapai like that lah. So
yeah, I get
yeah,
very gross when I think about
it's very
that.
gross, it's very gross.
Okay. So this leads me to the next question. Have you ever felt the pressures of continuously staying current? So earlier you mentioned that a lot of your brand, so to speak, it surrounds controversy. Do you feel sometimes you always need to chase that?
Not really lah. I feel like at a certain point the IG followers started to drop already, right? And at first it was just very depressing, like what the fuck am I doing wrongly?
That's the Insta cancer.
Yeah, it's the cancer. So I think after that, like I told myself that it doesn't really matter, because the people who love me are still there and they will still be there lah. And I think that, you know, like at the end of the day, these numbers, like it will whatever goes up will come down, right? So I don't have to change myself and try to be something else. I ask myself, should I be a bit more niche, right? Because when you are more niche, maybe you get more followers. Like for example, if you post about fashion, you only post about fashion, because the people who follow you only want to see fashion, right? So for example, like myself, I follow like really cute cats. So like if the cat account starts to post her own face, right, I would be very turned off. I'll just be like unfollow. Cause I follow you not to see the cat to see the cat, not to see your face So
Yeah.
you know, but I feel like the people who follow me are really there for me, not because they like pink hair or like because they blah blah blah. This is a truly personality based one. So I cannot force people to know, like if you like then you like, you don't like then too bad lah. You know, like so I just have to stay consistent who I am. And I feel like once you get it, that you don't mind that the followers are dropping or that your clout is dropping, then you will feel a lot less pressurized to come up with content that's current and relevant, rather than instead you come up with content that you love doing, because that's what made you popular in the first place, by coming up with content that you like and you love. And if that passion dies and you feel like you are forced to doing something that you don't really like and that is not really yourself,
It's a job already.
yeah, then you start feeling like yeah. So like for example, now I know people like watching like TikTok dancing videos, right? But I absolutely can't. I'm like that freaking character in Guardians of the Galaxy. What's the Buffy guy? It's just I don't
Okay,
know.
the Buffy guy. Yeah, the one. Okay,
Is it
very big
Drax?
one.
Yeah. So
Drake,
like,
something like this.
Drax, yeah. So I'm just like, oh my god, I so relate to him. I fucking hate dancing. And if you ask me to dance and force me to do TikTok now, right, I'll rather just quit the social media scene. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. You get what I mean?
I want to chat about this. I want to chat about TikTok right now, because TikTok has taken the whole world by storm. People are doing shorter and shorter content, more dance related content. What are your views on that?
I hate it lah.
Like, you don't see the charm at all?
No, it's fucking juvenile. A complete waste of my time. I just feel like there's like maybe a very very small percentage of people who actually dance exceptionally well, right? The rest are just mediocre and stupid. And if you're mediocre and stupid, why do I want to watch you dance? It's not funny. It's just very very cringe and very childish and a complete waste of my life. I watch it. I'm just like, I'm not entertained. Okay, I just feel right. And then I'm just like, somehow right, I don't listen to Amor song. So every time Amor song come up, like I just Chinese song. So I'm just like, what this renegade, shut the fuck up lah. Like, if they are, seriously, if they are dancing to Jay Chow, maybe. You know?
Oh my god. Guys, those of you on TikTok, okay, this is how you catch her attention. Just dance to Jay Chow's song, okay? All the Faru share everything, do some of that shit. She might watch.
Don't please. Yeah.
Don't ruin the song.
But like, why can't people just leave their fucking TikTok comments or TikTok content on TikTok? I just don't get it. Why must you share it on Instagram? Like, stop. You don't do that. Like, it's just like people who constantly post their tweets on Instagram as a post. Like, leave it on TikTok.
I on the other hand, I think, you know how you diversify your content so that you try to spread your seeds as far away? I think that's one way.
It's cancer. Stop your cancer. Stop it. It's fucking annoying. Like, oh my god.
I don't have that stance though, because I think TikTok, I don't really enjoy the dance too much. Some of the dance bit, I always make a parody off of it. But I really like, you know, last time the music alley, the dub smash.
I already
Have
told
you?
you I love the Chinese Angmo song already, so I have no idea what you're
不
talking
是
about.
this
I'm
one
very
is like
boomer
an app. The app where you shoot and then it's basically like clips of people talking and then you just mouth it, like lip syncing. This is new to you?
What? It's on TikTok ah?
It's on TikTok and there was this other app called Dub Smash, the one where you're filming and
Oh,
then
okay.
the
I know what you're talking
的
about.
讲话的
Yeah.
ah.
Okay.
Some of them is really funny and very on point. So
I
I
don't
find
mind
it
those lah, to be
entertaining,
fair. I don't mind
right?
those. Yeah, but I do
But
feel that
I like what you said. I like what you said. The one that like you dance mediocre, but you still want to act like you can, but it's
yeah,
not
you damn
entertaining.
like you damn sexy like this, damn fucking annoying lah. Like obviously, and you know what else I hate? I hate girls doing like pole dancing and planking. Like they obviously put the camera in front of them, then they lie down and plank. Nobody fucking wants to see you plank lah. Fuck lah, you obviously just want to show off your tits in your fucking sports bra. Like, you think we don't know what you're doing, is it? No way lah. Freaking irritating lor. Walao, I hope you fall down and smash your face. Damn annoying.
Oh my god.
At you. XD.
I love this so much.
I don't have to tell me it's fucking exercise. I obviously just want to slut it up.
This is why people love you. And you'll forever be current. It's because you say it for what it is. Okay?
It is like-
I sometimes
knows.
feel it. I sometimes feel it. Like when the moment you said, you know, some mediocre dancers trying to do some action, you know, like like really in like that. Whoa! I triggered, but I'm like hamji. Just okay, 不用紧, it's okay. Just continue watching other things, you know. I have never openly said it to anyone before, but I really like that. So I think this is a PSA for those of you're doing TikTok, you're having fun, that's fine. But if you think you are trying to be sexy, then maybe look in the mirror first lah. Maybe that will help.
But the guys will give them all this kind of like, whoa, so sexy, the voice. Then they will just be like, their brains are all filled with this.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, because people are generally quite positive, I feel. Nobody will really tell you the truth. And it's very, very uncomfortable for me also that TikTok has a lot of very, very young girls. Seeing all these 小妹妹 dancing and sort of sexualizing themselves. Like now that I'm a mom, right, I just am very, very uncomfortable with it. Like, don't they know that there are fucking pedophiles everywhere? It's just like they don't care. Yeah, so I think like if you go to those like sexy TikTokers like 小妹妹, see the guys who like it, right? You should go and like.
Is the gross like old people, old guys commenting?
Yeah, it's damn disgusting. Walao,
Then that brings us to like the danger of TikTok as well. Like it is, you know, more younger demographic using TikTok, and they are exposed to all this sexy, sexualized moves, and there are predators out there. So it is a very big thing that, you know, we should really talk about, because TikTok is so fun. Honestly, I find it fun. The software itself is so smart, and you can just be a content creator straight away. Because when I edit videos, I have to shoot, then post it. I go on my Final Cut Pro laptop, edit, bring it back here, check. No, cannot change the filters or whatever. But TikTok, you've got filters in it. You've got your swipe left, swipe right already can pick the filters. You can also do the timer thing. There's a lot of things. You can literally create a really cool video in just one app. And that's like almost like Instagram on steroids. So I kind of get the appeal, and the youngsters or the youths, they would really enjoy it, and I get that. But at the same time, there's the danger to it. So that's something I never really thought about, because when the TikTokers that I follow, they're all around my age and do stupid shit like me. So that's why. I don't know how come you see all the 小妹妹 one.
I think there's like a lot of very famous ones. So just now somebody posted a comment also. There was this Singapore account, I think it was taken down already. It's called SG 小妹妹 TikTokers or something, and it's literally girls in their school uniforms just doing the dance challenges, and these like guys love it lah. Actually, the moment that you get onto the Singapore TikTok page, right, the popular page or something, by location, is really just teenagers. Yeah, so long ago when I went on it, I don't know what it is now. But I think the software is smart. It's just based on what you like previously. They'll send you more. So if you like the dub smash stuff, then they will send you more of those lah. But when I go, I always see just dance, and
Oh
I'm just like,
wow.
yeah. So I mean, but I guess the thing is, there's the danger of this on every platform, not just TikTok, you know, like, so it's just that TikTok is the new thing and young people are faster to adapt to it. So you cannot ban them from using it also. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no choice law. But it's just that like platforms like Twitter, for example, is less likely that such things happen because it's still a very word-based format when pedophiles.
No, they have videos now. Now TikTok, TikTok, Twitter also like got videos.
Yeah,
I
they
think
do.
I think like you say, like all in general.
In general, it's still a very word-based platform lah. So it doesn't encourage girls to just go there and post selfies and stuff like that. It's just not that conducive for it lor.
So now I want to go back to this question: is can anyone be an influencer? And the word an influencer, how do you feel about that? Because we have this conversation on and on again. The word influencer has made influencers feel year already. Do you feel that?
Yeah, of course lah. It's damn gross lah. But then it's ironic. I say I'm wearing a T-shirt that says I'm Insta famous. I saw it.
You love irony. You love irony. That's the thing I noticed.
Just lean into it lah. I think to answer your question on whether anyone can be an influencer, I guess the better question is, would everyone want to be an influencer? I don't think so. You know, a lot of people do because they think that it's like, oh, you get free stuff, you get invited to free meals, and it's easy money. But the moment that you actually try, it's like I feel like many people will think that the hate comments and dealing with fame, it's like a lot of people will find that it's very nightmarish lah. So not everyone is as thick-skinned. Yeah, so I think a lot of people actually cannot deal with it that well. And at the very smallest instance of people hating them, they just collapse into a pile and get so depressed and everything. So I think it is a unique ability to be thick-skinned enough to say, you know what, like, you hating me is helping my career, so thank you very much for hating me.
Maybe then there are different creators slash influencers slash online people, okay? Because for me, I thrive on making funny videos. It brings meaning to my work when people say, you know, I had a shit day, your video is funny, and you know, I live for moments like that when I read messages like that. So I continue to do what I do. So yesterday or a few days ago, I had this conversation. When I make my first video that hit like 1 million views on Facebook, I was like, yes, I know the formula, right? Then I make the next one. Oh, it hit again even more. Then the third one, I'm expecting the same result. And then it just plummets, right? And that was the start where I realized there's something wrong with me because I'm chasing the numbers. I think we kind of touched on that, Grace, on that earlier, what you've mentioned. I realized I chase the numbers and I don't find joy in just creating anymore. So that is the problem. I think people who want to be influencers, I think they need to understand that you sometimes cannot let the numbers affect your vision because the start has to always be the passion, right, to create. So what was your passion to start? Was it to just write your thoughts, or was it the passion to create, to share your opinion with the world?
Well, I mean, like, for me, right, at the start, there was no such thing as an influencer having a career. So there was absolutely fuck all to gain from it. So the whole numbers thing or whatever, it doesn't make any difference because right now you know that 1 million means that you're famous and therefore it could lead to deals and stuff like that for you, right? In the past, right, there was nothing concrete. It was nothing tangible. Even if you know that this post has been shared many times, it means not much because in real life you still don't get people coming up to you yet because you're not that popular yet. You just get maybe 1 or 2 people recognize. So I would say that at that time
it wasn't as sophisticated.
Yeah, there was no such thing, you know. So it's hard to imagine now because everyone already knows that it's a career, it's a viable career path. But in the past, there was no such thing. So people who started just purely started because they wanted to share. And for me personally, right, it was when things were a little bit different when I started, when there was 0 people reading it. So that was because I'm just in general attention whore, I would say. So I just like to share about my life lah. Yeah, so that I just thought the idea of online diary, and I still do think this way, online diary where you can look back upon your days and thoughts 3 years ago. That is so cool. You know, that was my life back then. And that's why whenever I post anything, I always strive to be authentic, because I feel, and this is not just to pat myself on the back, but because I have a very bad memory. So I don't want to go back and look at something that's a false memory. I want to know this was all actually my thoughts back then. This was how the event happened. And these are the photos that happened during that point in time, you know? So I want to look at it and be like, hey, that's true. It really did happen. That was like a true state of a diary kind of thing lah. Yeah.
So your social media kind of becomes your gallery of your memories. That's how you perceive it. And that's why you want to be like authentic.
Yeah. So like, for example, when I post about like Dash last time when he was a baby, whenever I'm bored, I will go back and look at it. Now I'll read the captions. I'll be like, oh, on this date he dropped his tooth, or like whatever. On this date he took his first steps. That was my feelings at that time. That was what happened. That was what he was wearing. You know, it just felt nice, like a real memory. So I think like that was how it felt like when I first started lah. And then after that, when I started to feel like I had some kind of power in the fame, right? Being able to influence people.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I of course it is conscious in me. I understand that when I post something, it does have an effect. So then the passion kind of changes a little bit more into, of course the initial passion is still there, but more of like when I want to post something that I hope will make a difference with people, then that makes me feel like I need to say it, you know, because it will make a difference on issues. Yeah, so 2 types of passion.
So your motivation slowly shifted towards that when you got more so-called influence. You have a voice.
In a way, yes. Maybe in the past, I wouldn't post an opinion that I think is important because I feel not going to change anything. Now I feel like maybe it can change something. So for example, one of the things I feel very passionate about is that I feel like this whole PC culture that we have is going overboard. It may have started from a good place, but now everyone is so easily offended over all kinds of shit. Like during our era, right, we like, one of my favorite catchphrases is to call my friends "cha-kwa." So I'll just be like, hey, "cha-kwa, come here," you know, kind of thing. It doesn't, it's no offense to anyone. But just the idea of saying that now is so scary. Like, you're not supposed to say that, when people will be like hashtag trans life matters, you know, you're transphobic and blah blah blah, right? And it's just like, well, maybe in the past it's not that good idea to call my friends that, but who is it really hurting because it's just said in private? Maybe, I don't know, I'm sure the trans people don't appreciate the real aquas don't appreciate it now, okay? But it's just changed too much lah, and I think the pendulum has shifted a little bit too much now. And I always feel that a word inherently is not offensive. It's how you react to it. So if you refuse to be offended by the word, then the word is not offensive. For example, you can call me midget all you want. You can call me plastic all you want. It's not offensive because I don't feel offended by it lah, right? So at the end of the day, I think people should be empowered to feel this way rather than to stop everyone from saying the things that are sensitive, because it will never end lah. It will never end. There's no limit to it. So nowadays it's even offensive to call somebody a woman or a man or miss. You know, there are people in the US who are saying that words should never have gender. For example, don't say chairman, say chairperson. or like chair, just chair. Like, hello, it's not furniture. So yeah, so for example, like, that's one of the things that I speak up on, even though it is not in the popular thing that people like to say lah nowadays. You know, positive vibes, you must be very sensitive to people's feelings. But what I feel like is that I should fight for people just growing the fuck up lah. Like, words won't hurt you, don't let it hurt you. It's just like when you are like, people are just like, okay, how would you feel like if your son is really like kind of faggoty and like in school people call him a cha-kwa, would you like it? And my response to that is, well, I would teach him to not respond when you call him a chaogua, and in fact just lean into it, right? If people call you a chaogua and you just be like, yes, 什么事? You know, then they will no longer say in a bullying way because they know it doesn't affect you.
You take the power away from them.
Correct. You think that it's funny, you love it, all the more they won't say it because they only want to get a reaction out of you when they say it in a mean way, right? So the only way to stop them is to lean into it and not ever show them that you're affected. So I think this whole banning people from saying it makes the word even stronger in meaning because now you cannot say the N word, right? It has a very strong power to it. Now you're giving power to the word by banning it. So like, yeah lah. I don't even know why we went into this topic, but you're talking about.
No, I think it's good because the reason why you're saying this is so it helps influencers, the aspiring influencers out there. If you do get hate, don't feel like you should react to it. Instead, lean into it. I think that's a really good advice, honestly, because when you are an influencer, you are opening your world to the public. And public, you got the different funny kind lah. And when that happens, you have to be thick-skinned enough. This is one way, a start to be thick-skinned, to train your mind to not be reactive to words that people use. So I can share with you, you know, when you go online and you can't, there's the error 404 not found, something like that. Okay, so I posted up a bikini photo before, and then someone commented error 404 boobs not found.
Okay.
I thought that was so funny, and I just like screenshotted that and put it on like IG stories. And for me, it's that I love my small tits. Yo, what is wrong with that? You know? And I will lean into it, just like what you said. Like I'm not offended by it. I thought that was a funny joke, and then that person didn't respond anymore. And I just thought that that's just one way, you know, how you can deal with so-called haters, if you want to call that. Now, I want to ask the final question. I don't want to take too much of your time, but this final question, and I think it's a very interesting question, and that is, what is your opinion between Malaysian versus Singaporean influencers? What have you analyzed?
Malaysian
you don't have to mention names. You don't have to, if you want to, you can, honey, but you know, you don't have to throw shade, but you can just tell us, like, in general, what have you observed and your opinions?
Well, okay, I don't follow that many Malaysian influencers, but from what I can tell, right, not much difference there, honestly. Yeah, so I would say relatively the same. It's just that, yeah, I think we're very, very similar. I would say that like Singapore and Malaysia, right, like, there's always seems to be this thing about like competition and stuff, but we are a lot more similar.
Than you think, right?
Then yeah, of course. And I think that like there's so many Malaysians living in Singapore, so many Malaysian friends. I don't know whether there are a lot of Singaporeans living in Malaysia that you know also lah. I'm sure there are. But like we interact all the time. And honestly, if I have to be stuck in a deserted island with somebody from another nationality, I'll definitely choose a Malaysian.
Okay, why is that?
Because we are very similar ma, and we can get along, we get each other's humor. You know, we kind of like to eat the same food, and like, yeah, so there's just a lot more things to talk about that won't be like so much cultural differences, I feel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
I personally noticed
because I learned some survival skills, so maybe I will get a Viking type of person who can like,
whoa, you're already strategizing. I like this.
Talking about company wise, like, okay, if I am,
you know you say you're a bimbo. I hate it when you say it all the time because you are fucking intelligent. You need to understand. I'm sure a lot of people know that. But you just like to play the part. You just like the irony so much. But you're just such an intelligent human being. When you write or when you tell all your points, no, when you tell your points, you know, your videos, when you shade certain things, and we start to think, and I want to poke holes, I cannot, because you already covered everything. You get what I mean?
Right.
Like, for example, you want to shit on TikTokers, the dancers, but you don't just shit on TikTokers, dancers in general. You only shit on the ones that are mediocre and cannot really make it. You get what I mean? So you cannot say you're a bimbo. You are fucking smart.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, I personally believe that. And so I want to talk a little bit about Malaysia versus Singapore influences, the way I've seen it.
Okay, yeah, tell me what you think.
So yeah, I've been to some events and I've seen Singaporeans influences as well. Sorry, that's my cat.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, show your cat!
You want to see? Okay, I bring one meow here. Sorry, this interview is being disturbed by this annoying cat. She is very, very grumpy and she hates human beings to the T. You see, she'll go away one. You see. Sorry. Yeah, so very quickly, I just noticed that in terms of content or in terms of the dedication to create the perfect post, I notice Singaporeans do it way, way, way more than Malaysians.
Huh? You mean like they take a lot of effort?
Yeah, I see that. I see Singaporeans, their content.
Okay.
I find it, they really take it to the next level. And this was perhaps like 2-3 years ago. I made this comment. That's when I realized, yeah. And ever since then, every single time when you go for press trips and stuff, you notice different types of people. And for me, I've normally seen a lot of Singaporeans, and I noticed they're way more. I wouldn't say use the word competitive, but I'll use the word gung ho. Yeah. Do you see that?
Not really.
No?
I don't think so. I think Malaysians are still quite hardworking also. Like when
That's for sure. But I've seen like in terms of, Malaysians got like the mass market, so to speak, and then there's the Chinese and like all the different races and stuff like that. And the different segregations. I'm talking about specifically the urban creators. They are slightly more, I would say, sophisticated in the way they craft their content, for sure, yes. But like if we were to compare in general, Malaysia versus Singapore, I noticed there's definitely a difference.
Okay. So you mean that you're including people who are not like living in KL or like in suburbs?
Yeah. In general.
Okay,
it's just in general.
Maybe in general, because maybe I don't follow that many. But I feel like for those that I do follow, their content is quite similar to Singaporean influencer styles. But like talking about Malaysian influencers, I recently went on a press trip with Benefit. So how it worked was that there will be a Singapore contestant, not so famous, like a aspiring makeup artist, a beauty influencer contestant, right? And then they will go with a mentor who is influencer. That was me, I was chosen for a Singapore team. And then there was another influencer from Malaysia side. I suddenly forgot her name, Aisha or something. She was like the Malaysian head influencer, and then there was a contestant from their side. So we had to help our country's contestant win the prize. Being the influencer of the country don't win anything, but I am very, very, very competitive when it comes to these things. And I was just trying my best to help my contestant win. And I tell you, the Malaysian side, right, at first they keep saying that they're going to lepak and they are just going to chillax and have fun, but they are fucking competitive. Like, okay, like, and I mean, it's like, it's like those.
I like that. I kind of like the sound of that. Actually, I'm happy now.
They say that chillax, then we were just like, oh yeah, typical Malaysia lah. They're gonna just chillax lah. They're not gonna do anything. Then we Singaporeans so kiasu, right? That's typical Singaporean spirit. And then in the end, it was like, oh my god, they were not chillax at all. So it's like those challenges where everyone stand at one point and everyone has to go and snatch the ball. The first one who wins it wins, that kind of thing, like small little challenges like that, right? Well, I tell you all the way they snatch it, they will like fucking like push you away and shit, it's damn scary. So I'm just like, they are just equally as competitive. So just like you say, they're not so competitive, right? Oh, no.
Oh, triggered. I like that. Okay, so you've given me a whole new perspective, and when I go to press trips next time, I will make that I will re-evaluate my opinion. But we're slowly running out of time. Literally, this is like a freaking host show. We're about to run out of time, right?
We can stay here until midnight also can. Who's gonna stop us?
Cannot lah. Instagram. I only can do 1 hour only. That's it.
Oh, I see.
So before we hit the 1 hour mark, XiaXue, thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it. We got to talk about so many things. I laughed like crazy, and we got very interesting perspective about different things like TikTok. We talked about how to deal with haters and how to lean in when someone talks shit about you. I really enjoyed it, and I think
Me too.
you give us value lah. I didn't expect this. Like at first I was nervous, and slowly I just feel like I'm just talking to a friend, and I really appreciate that. So I want to say once again,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, I just want to add
And
one last thing before we go. Like, speaking
yes.
of like press trips, right? I've met many Malaysians during my press trips, and I just want to say I love all these Malaysian influencers. I really, really like them very much. Like really, it was like, I didn't even meet one that I don't like. So that's nice.
I hope one day I'll be able to go on a press trip and I will get to chat with you in person.
Where we have press trips. Oh my god.
Don't worry, it will happen. It will happen. Okay, stay positive. Alright, sis. Alright, speak to you soon. Thank you so much again. Everybody, round of applause.
Bye bye.